Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen. We've had an update on the new roadmap plans for Squadron 42 and Star Citizen, as well as a sprint report showing some of the work that Cloud Imperium are working on. This is a summary of Inside Star Citizen and the upcoming roadmap update post. From the sprint report, the most exciting thing for me is actually the Nova tank is in white box and very much in active development. This is a absolutely cool ground vehicle, proper major main battle tank. We know that Cloud Imperium want that tank in for Theatres of War as a priority, but it should be in the persistent universe around the same time, and I would expect it to be in our hands in the next few quarters. The points of interest, or Lagrange point gas clouds, are coming with 3.12. They give texture and intrigue to space and other existing points of interest, as well as sort of adding this amazing looking backdrop to the Stanton system. The lighting guys are currently working on having clouds react appropriately to sunlight and distance from a star. They are also adding appropriate lighting to refinery decks. They want them to look great without destroying your frame rates. Smoke and fixtures at those locations are going to be completed next. Docking areas are being worked on as well for stations, so these look to be modular add-ons for space stations, with an observation deck, docking services, the actual docking collar, and all that sort of jazz. This will allow them to have sections added to stations specifically for large amounts or large ships to dock with a station without landing and make use of their services. Very important to the game and allows larger ships to potentially be spawned in space. Firework has moved to convection propagation, so gravity, wind speed, direction are all now important to the way fire moves, as are the materials that it's burning and the atmosphere of the area, but fire will spread in a believable manner. Something very cool for damage control in the future and having to deal with fires on ships. We saw more of the interior of the Crusader Hercules C2 Starlifter. Various areas of the ship are now completing their grey box phase and moving into the final art phase. There is no confirmation of when this ship is going to appear in game. I'm hoping that it will be for the end of this year, but it's potentially also more likely, I suppose, that it'll be Q1 2021. We'll have to wait and see. Roadmap update. So, the much-awaited new roadmaps for Star Citizen and Squadron 42 are becoming more of a reality. Cloud Imperium have been working on a progress tracker and a public-facing roadmap that conveys more information about the development of their games and features, showing what teams are working on any given feature, how many people are working on it, and a more detailed stack of info on the task, its duration, etc. So, Cloud Imperium have now shared an update with what's going on with this. The new roadmap has been in active development and we're still marching towards our end-of-year target. It may seem like a simple task, but an often overlooked aspect of building out this roadmap is the management of such a massive data set. Building out the front end of a roadmap isn't the hardest part, not even close. The new roadmap relies on large swathes of data coming in from more than 50 teams, which requires a lot of effort to organise and make presentable for public consumption. In addition, since we're sharing headcount, expertise and more, this massive data set will require ongoing and regular maintenance and quality control. The key here has been in establishing a pipeline and process so that the new roadmap is sustainable. So, what can you expect this December? We plan on delivering a roadmap that focuses on our core features from our upstream teams initially. An upstream team is a team that is responsible for core deliverables, tech, content, features, while downstream teams often won't have a good idea of their work until the upstream team's content has been decided and locked in. Downstream teams consist of support teams such as UI, audio, and other similar teams. The nature of development is obviously that downstream teams have to be reactive to some degree to what upstream teams are working on, which can make it very difficult to accurately map out long-term work. Not only that, but the process works both ways, so often the downstream team evaluations that feed back into the upstream planning can alter the upstream team's timelines. So we got to see an example of their progress tracker using real data and its format, basically the sort of stuff that we can expect from the initial offering of these new roadmaps. It showed work being planned for personal radars, for FPS stuff, FPS scanning, zero-G push-pull mechanics that are all sort of being worked on in 2020, but moving into 2021, there are updates to the actor status system, healing, personal inventory, cover, leaning stuff, physical inventory storage, though they haven't confirmed confirmed the features for Q1 and Q2 21-21 yet, so bear that in mind. It's just showing a rough example of what they are planning to work on. It looks like the roadmap may have up to a year of planning on it, so 4 quarters, and potentially more, I suppose. The new roadmap is going to have 2 views that you can cycle through at your leisure, the progress tracker seen in the video, and the release view. So the release view is very similar to what we already have on the public roadmap. They said that the features populated on these will be the ones that have the highest degree of confidence that will make it into that release. For the immediate release, so the one in the quarter ahead, you're going to see it generously populated with content. They do intend for the view to show several quarters out, but they do want to be clear that the nature of their development and the way they show these roadmaps mean that priorities do shift, things change, things get delayed. Visibility beyond 1 quarter isn't something that we should consider locked in. So they can't make promises with the roadmaps, and sometimes a feature just isn't ready or viable. Delays to features will still happen, then they can pivot entirely to a new task sometimes. This will show very accurately, though, on the roadmaps what's currently being done, and then plans for future content with as much accuracy as they can. But they do want people to know that it is likely to be less and less accurate the further you go out time-wise. In 3 quarters, for example, a patch that they might have planned today for 3 quarters time may look very different as of changing priorities and stuff slipping. We will see what they're working on and their current priorities for the quarters afterwards and their plans, though. They will share more information when they have it, but expect these new roadmaps by the end of the year. And I am very excited for that. I do think that the roadmap information, even if it's not perfectly accurate, is still important. It shows what they're working on, what they're planning on working on. Very useful. Back to inside Star Citizen, though, they talked about the Mercury Star Runner. Obviously, it's been highly talked about recently and shown off in loads of my videos. It is a fan favourite. It represents a lot of sci-fi fantasy and covers a huge amount of gameplay. When data running and that sort of server gameplay comes into the game, that server room in the Mercury Star Runner is going to be very busy, and I suspect the ship will be used a lot more. They talked about moving server racks around to look through data as part of gameplay, all the cockpit buttons as well. They have mapping already planned or ready for future gameplay. They redesigned the cargo area so that the Urza rover or Cyclone could actually fit in it, which is why it's such a good mission running and just multi-use ship. I've got a full Mercury Star Runner ship buyer's guide and tour for those of you that are interested, looking at the whole ship and its gameplay. Please check that out. And that's it for today. Are you looking forward to those new roadmaps? Do you think they will really help with conveying development information, or do you think it's just going to be the same as the old ones? Do you think they will have a good level of short-term accuracy, or is there always going to be confusion and disappointment with these features slipping whenever they do? Could we see the Hercules C2 in 3.12, or is that too optimistic to expect to see it by the end of the year? What about all the updates for stations and points of interest? Are you excited about gas clouds? Whatever your thoughts, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Each month we have a ship giveaway. For November, we are giving away a Mercury Star Runner again. This highly anticipated multi-role ship is great for small to medium-sized crews that want to do a bit of everything, whether that be cargo running, data running, missions, combat, smuggling, all that sort of jazz. All you've got to do to be in for a chance of winning one is comment on any of my videos made for November, including this one. More details down below. What am I shilling for today, I hear you ask? Do you hate it when people steal all of your money and your house over the internet? I know I do. NordVPN may have been invented by wizards to help protect your personal data from the prying eyes of the dark web, a sinister cabal of technomancers that grow in power the more they know about your browsing habits. The true story of NordVPN's origins are unknown and lost to the ages, and without using facts, no one really knows how it provides more accessibility to otherwise censored websites or a safer security experience for all that use it. All I know is that it does, and that when you sign up to it, the power level of my bank account grows, and I use it, and maybe you should too.